Welcome back, everyone. What review of the Disney Plus Star Wars show Ahsoka, which just dropped its sixth episode this past Tuesday night. My name is Max and welcome back to Max Talks Movies. Today I'm breaking down Ahsoka episode 6. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, and every single Monday, a new box office breakdown show. Please comment down below. What are your thoughts, spoiler thoughts on this episode? Where do you think the season could end in the final 2 episodes of the season? Did you like this episode? Did you not like it? Did this bring a lot of these Rebels characters to life in a good way, bad way? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please like the video as well. The thumbs up button, that's how you support this channel. As you can tell, I usually don't rush through the intros that much, but there's so much to get into once again for the second straight week. So without further ado, let's break down episode 6 of Ahsoka, which is again another fantastic episode for the series. Again, I don't like to proclamate, as you know, if you're new to the reviews, I don't like to proclamate ranking a show or saying it's a better than this show until its show is complete. So I'm not going to say that with Ahsoka, but this has been my favorite experience so far watching a Star Wars show on Disney Plus. So this episode continued with that. So we start the episode inside the Purrgil, the only scene with Ahsoka this entire episode, with her and Hu Yang. And they're talking about, Hu Yang feels like I've done everything and now I really haven't, being in this experience. And Ahsoka says she misses hearing those stories that he would tell this young Jedi. And then Ahsoka basically revealed to Hu Yang that in her, the Force, she saw that, Sabine went willingly to Galen and all those people. Sorry, to Balin, not Galen, sorry, Balin Skull. Hu Yang says maybe she did it for the right reason. And then Ahsoka says, let me hear one of those stories. And that's when Hu Yang says, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And then we start the episode called Far, Far Away, which was really just had me in the feels already heading into the episode. So we were finally on the way to the path to Peridia. They get out of hyperspace with Sabine in prison, basically. They're brought out and we see the 3 on Peridia. We see the 3 witches of Dathomir, of the Dathomiri race. You heard those echoes of the dialogue, which we heard from other Tals and other witches in Clone Wars. It all had the right feels. And Sabine's basically continuing to tell Balin this whole episode, we had a deal. You have to tell, you brought me, I gave you this so you can give me, Ezra. And this is where, she's going to get set up with Ezra in a moment. So let's just get to the good part. We get the introduction to live action and this show to Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, I think for a lot of people who are new to the show, I still think the buildup for this character was massive. And I do think they did a good job for people who aren't familiar. There isn't like too much overwhelming backstory you need to know about Thrawn. And for people who like me, I've seen Rebels 3 or 4 times now, I think 4 times. Thrawn was the main villain of Star Wars Rebels in seasons 3 and 4. The ending of season 4, again, really, Thrawn is a military strategist. He's very different from people like Krennic and Tarkin. He very much does like to get his hands dirty, but Thrawn is very strategical in the way he goes about things. And we'll talk about that based on his dialogue to end the episode. We have Thrawn's entrance. We see the same ship that was his ship in Star Wars Rebels, has the same kind of art-driven drawn on it, the bottom of the ship. We have the stormtroopers, who obviously thousands of stormtroopers were with him when Ezra and the Purrgil took him away, and in the season 4 finale of Rebels. We have this new guy, Enoch, I believe his name is, and he is, I guess, one of the stormtroopers. He's basically become Thrawn's #1 person. It's a different mask, really cool mask. They're chanting for Thrawn. And I think a lot of people, and Lucas has come out and said this, that he drew a lot on the Empire based off of the Nazis in Germany. And I think I felt that for a long time, but I really felt it in this scene. It really did feel like a Hitler-like entrance with everyone chanting his name. And it felt like a lot of those things that I think people have been talking about for decades of Star Wars and their connection to the Nazis. I think this is a really good one from Thrawn and Hitler. Thrawn makes his way through. He has some great lines. And once again, he is played by Lars Mikkelsen, who did voice the character from Rebels. So this is the second time we've seen a transition from Rebels performance voiceover to live action. Now, yes, David Tennant does count for being Huyang, but again, Huyang is a droid. We don't physically see it. So obviously, Lars Mikkelsen now joins Katie Sackhoff, who voiced Bo-Katan on Clone Wars Rebels, and then actually physically played her in Mandalorian. And in Mandalorian, Lars Mikkelsen does the same here, and it is just easily Thrawn. Now, yes, the look is really good for me, but of course, what it comes down to is the voice, and that's why it's really amazing that they did cast Lars Mikkelsen to once again play Thrawn, because the voice, and right away, you just sucked right back into Thrawn really easily. He recognizes Baylan because he was a general in the Clone Wars. I thought that was really strong as well. And obviously, he's like, Sabine's a familiar name. We have this great scene with Thrawn, and that they're going to give Sabine her wish. It's just that, Baylan and Shin are going to follow behind them and kill Ezra and Sabine. And then Thrawn in a later scene, a very Thrawn scene where, Thrawn's like, let's just send these two troopers out to get them. And Morgan's like, actually, should we send more? And Thrawn had to pause for a second. He's like, actually, you know what? We're good. You don't really doubt Thrawn's strategy whatsoever. He's very strategical, and he's a mastermind in that way. And Thrawn basically tells Morgan, we're gonna try to leave here as quickly as possible. It's gonna be with or probably without your mercenaries, which means Shin and Baylan. So we'll see that even makes a big deal, because Baylan has a great episode here, great performance from Ray Stevens. And again, the more we watch, the more it's just so tragic of his death, because he in real life, because Ray Stevenson's so tremendous in the show. And he has a lot of good back and forth with Shin Hati. And basically the point is that, Shin basically keeps saying, do you miss the Jedi Order? It's a great scene where Baylan's like, I miss the idea of the Jedi Order, but the truth of it, the lies, that I don't miss. I thought that was a really great scene. They talk about Ezra and Baylan's like, he was trained basically a homeschooled Jedi, which he was during the war by Kanan. And he basically tells Shin that he was trained to be a Jedi and you're trained to be more than that. And then Baylan makes the point to Shin, which is basically the witches and Thrawn are fleeing the power that is on this planet and in this world. And that's something that he wants to possess. Now, I don't know what power this is. It's going to be very fascinating what they choose for this power to be that Baylan is after in this show. The fact that we don't even know, and it's still this interesting, to show you the performance is great and the dialogue is excellent for that character. So Filoni's doing a great job writing for that character, and Ray Stevenson's bringing it from a performance perspective. Now we kind of get some Animal and Sabine comedy, and the mixture of practical and CGI and visual effects were tremendous for both the horse-like creature that she travels on, then the turtle-like creatures that she sees later in the episode. After all this, Sabine fights off a couple people. Her tracker thing goes off, and then she follows the turtle people, and they see that I'm going to call them turtle people for now. Sorry if I'm mistaking I forgot what their characters are called, or the creatures are called. But Sabine has that rebel insignia, and the creature also had that, which means obviously they knew who Ezra was. And Ezra is on screen for the first time in the present time. We saw Eman Esfandi make his debut in episode 1 via a hologram message that he sent to him at the end of season 4. This time he is in the present, and I definitely got choked up for multiple. Now, obviously, just seeing Ezra back on screen was a lot, but Ezra does look like his biological father. As obviously Ezra, this is 9 years post Rebels, and he just looks like his father that he just longed to be with, and that definitely got me emotional. Then the very Rebels dialogue back and forth between Sabine and Ezra was great. But Ezra does ask and obviously when they hug, you hear Kevin Kiner's Ezra music, and it just brought me back to being a 12-year-old through I guess a 12-year-old through 18-year-old whenever Rebels finished, and watching Rebels. I just had those moments of flashing back to my teen years and as a 12-year-old and watching Rebels. Music can do that, and the characters can do that, and the combination of both brought me back to that time. So that's why I was really just swept into that hug and the music and everything involved. But Ezra asks a very key question to Sabine, which is like, how did you get here? And Sabine unwisely, obviously, does not want to tell him that she came back here with people who want to get Thrawn back to their home world and for the war to begin again. It wasn't like Sabine came here by herself. And Sabine unwisely does not tell Ezra at all why, how she got there. She's like, I just want this one moment. I don't want to talk about how I got here. I just want to have this moment with you. Ezra obviously kind of like doubts it as he's like, I just want, and then, we end with a very cryptic note with Ezra, where Ezra, and also, sorry, Ezra has his blue eyes. So the animated show, it just felt very much like the character from Rebels. Ezra says that I just can't wait to get back home. And Sabine knows that that's going to be very tricky to do. The final scene of the episode is Thrawn getting ready, basically. He wants to get back home and make a major difference. Thrawn talks to Morgan and the witches, and this is where Thrawn is like, and the witches say, we sense a Jedi coming with the Purrgil here to Peridia, and Thrawn says, can this be Ahsoka Tano, recently deceased Ahsoka Tano? And Morgan says that that's blasphemy. Balin told her that I was dead, and said both the coming back to life is very much a thing of both the Jedi and the witches, and to take Balin for a fool for thinking that she was dead. And this is where Thrawn, who obviously does not know Ahsoka, as Ahsoka was in the fight with Vader at the end of season 2. So Thrawn did not interact with Ahsoka at all in Rebels. Thrawn basically asked Morgan, as he always does, he wants to know bio, where she's from, her master, all of these things. And if you know Rebels, Thrawn does this to scout his opponents, and he scouted the entire Ghost crew, especially Hera in Rebels season 3, where he takes over their planet and steals art and memorabilia from the Syndulla family. He makes it very personal, but uses art and things like that. And he's like a scouting report. I think that's really smart from Thrawn. And then basically Thrawn also was like, the witches, I also need to use more of your dark magic again. And we end the episode now. So I thought this was a fantastic episode. I think it makes a lot of people like me who are Rebels fans really happy. It really sets up for an amazing end to the series of this last two episodes of season 1 of Ahsoka. This is one of my favorite experiences watching Star Wars in a long time. And I'm very, very excited for these last 2 episodes. I'm sad we only have 2 more weeks here to talk about it with you guys on this channel, but I can't wait to break down episode 7 next week. That's the next time you'll see my Ahsoka review. Many more reviews are coming soon. I'll say